What's going on? Hustlers, back to you guys with another video. So this video is actually supposed to come out like earlier this week or like maybe a week ago. And then there's just like an issue with the Loom, like recording the video for whatever reason. It cut off at like 7 minutes and then I recorded it twice, but then I was like gonna go take my check ride the next day. So I was like, fuck that, I'm not gonna stay up like trying to kill myself over this video. I gotta focus on this check ride. But anyways, check ride's passed. I just uploaded another video on revealing everything that I learned from DLA Landing Maritime TKO Seminar Day 1. So go watch that. There's some banger nuggets in there, like some stuff that I will probably never ever talk about in another video for free. So go click that. But this is how to use government contracting to lead your 9 to 5. Number one, figure out your reasons for leaving. This is a really, really big one. So a lot of times people say they want to leave, and I'm like, okay, why do you want to leave? I'm like, I hate my job. I'm like, well, just because you hate your job doesn't mean that you should go into like being a business owner, right? Maybe you need to find another job. Maybe you need to start a passion project on the side. Maybe you need to change, your spending habits so that way you can afford to take something else that makes you happy. Maybe I always tell the story. There's a guy and he had a kid on his way, right? Like figure out your reasons for leaving your job and wanting to make that transition into government contracting. That's really, really important because if the only answer is money, it's going to be really, really hard to find success unless God blessed you with like a surplus, an abundance of patience. The only reason you want to leave is for money. I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to leave for time freedom or patient freedom, or if you want to have something tangible that you can like leave for your kids, fine. That's a good reason. But if the only reason that you want to leave is for financial reasons, I would strongly advise against. Number two, determine if government contracting is right for you. And the way that you can do that, I actually made a video. Let me see. Okay, yeah, actually, oops. I actually made a video about how to use my channel to win contracts. And I talk about more how to do this in depth in there, right? But this is going to be like very email heavy, a lot of phone calls. You're going to be working on the computer a lot. Um, I recommend for new companies, you're going to be doing your packaging. You're going to have to read a lot, right? So figure out if this is right for you. I don't want you guys to think this is a get rich quick scheme either, right? You're highly blessed if you touch $1 million in your first year. 2 years, very feasible that it could happen. But your first year, and that's revenue, right? That's revenue. And then if you're doing, let's just keep the numbers low, be conservative. If you're doing 10%, right? If you're doing 10% margin, that's 100K net profit cash after your first year, which is phenomenal for any business. You guys, any entrepreneur, they'll tell you like, bro, you got 100,000 your first year in business. That's fucking fire. So this is not a get rich quick scheme. There's a lot of reading involved, a lot of emails involved. You got to read proper. You got to make sure that you got that Grammarly attachment going on because you got to be sound. You got to be sound when you're sending those emails. So some people they don't like code switching. Some people are like, oh, I don't like talking on the phone. So just figure out if it's right for you. Number three, pick a product market, right? So now at this point, we've determined, okay, yes, I want to leave my job. I have good reasons for leaving my job. And then I know that government contracting is the vehicle that I want to use to do that. Is the vehicle that I want to employ, unintended, to leave my job. So now you got to pick a product, right? So I got a couple of videos on that about like how to use or five key factors that you want to consider when picking your product. Five easiest things to sell, five things you want to avoid selling. I got a couple of videos out on those. So yeah, pick a product. You can watch my videos on those, but you want to have a product market in mind, right? Everything that you do has to be calculated, especially I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're probably not some like 15-year-old kid with no responsibilities. You probably do have responsibilities. Maybe you have debt, maybe you have kids, or maybe at the very basic, function of like survival, you just have to pay your bills and put food on the table. So this stuff, like picking a product market and these questions that we just asked, that needs to be done before you quit, unless you have like a whole bunch of savings and you are blessed enough to be able to just up and leave. Number four, figuring out your goals and your obstacles. So, um, goals are important. I made a video about how to set your goals. I believe goals are great, right? The biggest thing is you want to figure out what do you think your obstacles are going to be. Everybody can talk about goals and stuff. It gives you a dopamine hit, but it requires a bit more of a pragmatic approach to figure out your obstacles, right? So maybe for you, it's going to be I don't have a lot of time for you. How am I going to split up my day, right? Um, maybe it could be financially you're a bit tapped for cash. Um, maybe it could be that your literary skills are shit. Maybe it could be you live in a really remote area like Hawaii, right? So these are all obstacles which can be overcome, but you want to figure those out. And then obviously figuring out your goals, reverse engineering. Go watch my video on how to make $100,000 in government contracting. I talk about how to break down goals and stuff. I'm not going to focus too much on that. I like to keep these videos short. Okay, number 5. So now nitty gritty, right? You figured out your goals. Which again, if you watch my video on how to make $100,000 in contracting, it tells you how to break down how many RFQs, how many emails, how many phone calls, how many bids you need to be submitting, right? So this is just assuming that you've already done that. And I want you guys to be able to take this information and use it like immediately. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about stuff that I've already talked about. Just go watch the other video. So you want to be RFQing in the morning before you even get to work. So keep in mind that to get to work or to get to where you want to go, you're trying to go somewhere you've never gone before. So you got to do things that you've never done before. So with that being said, you might have to be waking up an hour or two earlier. You might have to spend a couple extra hours doing that research. So that way the next morning you can send out those emails. So we should be RFQing in the morning, even making phone calls, leaving voice messages, right? Then number 7, you want to bid in the PM, so the evening. So realistically, how this should be going is you send your RFQs out in the morning, and then around lunchtime, you should start getting your quotes back. And then once you get home, right, because you you should have already gotten those quotes back, then you can start submitting bids. People are like, oh, I don't have time. Listen, average human being sleeps 8 hours. Then let's just say you work 8 hours, right? That's 16 hours. You got a whole other 8 hours in the day. Even if you have an hour long commute there and back, okay, now you're left with 6 hours. Go watch my video on how I built a company in 22 days. I literally was so obsessed, I budgeted my time down to the minute. I knew how many minutes I had available, right? So I don't want to hear any excuses. I did it at 21, and I did it like this is my own company, not my parents' company. I built this company on my own bare hands, and I did it in 22 days. If I can do it, you can do it. And I did it while working a job and going to community college and in flight training and while running a marathon. Drop your nuts, get the work done. I don't want to hear any complaints. And then number 8, after submitted your bids, let's fast forward maybe a week or two, or a month or two, right? So you're winning some contracts. Then you want to be shipping on the weekends, right? And then you want to rinse and repeat, right? Keep doing that. Like don't do anything that takes away from your ability to earn money during the week. And like yes, shipping is a money making activity, but if you're bidding with a long lead time, you want to be spending your time during the week um, submitting. You want to be spending your time during the week submitting bids, so that way you can put more stuff in the pipeline. So you want to be shipping on the weekends, holding off on shipping during the week. Number 9, do not touch the money. Like I don't care what you like. Don't touch the money. This is not for you to go and buy a Tesla cash. This is not for you to go and buy a bust down Cartier. Which I have. If I ever meet any of you guys at a conference and I see you wearing that, I'm gonna clown you. Shit watch. Um, that's it's not for you to go buy jewelry. It's not for you to buy a car. It's for you to pay off debt and then stack cheese so that way you can make your exit. That's what this is for. This is for you to reinvest in your business. This is not for you to go blow in the club. Don't come to Miami and rent a Urus. Don't go to Vegas and get a room at Caesars. Don't do that. Please don't do that. So the next thing, as I mentioned, stack 3 months of living expenses. Give yourself 90 days. So figure out, what it's going to cost for you to live for 90 days without going to work. Stack that amount of money. Then you can quit. And the reason why I picked 3 months, 90 days, you can make a lot of changes in 90 days. And 90 days, you should also be able to win multiple contracts, especially if you've already been winning. You should be able to scale, go all in. 90 days is more than enough for you to win a contract, purchase the material, invoice the government, get paid on it, then keep your profit, and that should like be able to start covering your bills. And for those 90 days, that's all you're doing full time. Like you're working 12, 14-hour days bidding on contracts. That's all you're doing. So you shouldn't be doing anything else. Allocate your time accordingly. So yeah, that is how you can use government contracting to quit your 9 to 5. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM on Instagram. Instagram handle is down below. We're about to hit 2K. Super hype about that. If you want my free acronym PDF, I hope you break down solicitations and read that stuff. Make it make sense to you. Hit me on Instagram. You gotta be following me for a response. And then, yeah, if you need some coaching or mentoring, click the link in my bio. And yeah, reach out to me. Book a time to speak with me on the calendar. And not only am I not only am I looking forward to your success, but I swear to God, I know that girl. They're going. That's a flight to Tampa, and I swear to God, I know that person. You probably just didn't recognize me because I cut my hair. But not only am I looking forward to your success, I'm sure of it. Like, comment, subscribe.